is dramatic preview music. Okay. I'm Todd Kenreck. I am your host and creative manager. Also, your creative manager, and you are who?
I'm James Haeck. I'm the lead writer for D&D Beyond and a co-author on Explorer's Guide to Wildemount with Matt Mercer, James Intercasso, and Chris Lockey. And we've got the book. We've got it.
He's such a bragger. Some of us only got a special thanks. That's cool. No, because that's what you get when you didn't do anything on a book.
Well, I mean,
all I do is make people cry.
No. Yeah. But we've got the book.
But we got the book, and it's very exciting. We're going to actually preview parts, actually inside of the book for the very first time on camera, live, and it's really cool.
It's freaking amazing.
So you don't realize how cool it is until you actually have it. I've had a version of the book for a really long time, and I've definitely been struck with the depth of it. The one thing I'm really happy about is I've never been to Hooper Duke. I had not watched the episodes of Critical Role that involved that, and I did an adventure in that city, and the descriptions were so dead on for the city that I felt like I nailed it.
Yeah.
And then I watched the episode as kind of like an experiment on Critical Role.
Did I nail it?
And yeah, it was almost like perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I just got the sense of what that city was about and what was the culture, and you could extrapolate very accurately, I would say.
Yeah.
Those city descriptions, which is like really helpful.
Matt's really good at like turning the ideas that he has into his head into words. It's remarkable how dead on his descriptions are to what he actually was able to put in the book.
Yeah, which is a very rare trait.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I don't think it's appreciated very well.
No, not at all. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm really excited to show off not only the artwork, but obviously some of the core mechanics of the book and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at the subclasses, which I know everyone's really excited about. We are looking at basically the way that Dunamancy affects the D&D multiverse. And obviously there are several spells that already exist. You know, you got slow, you got haste, anything that involves manipulation of time or gravity. And it just so happens I'm an insane fan of both of those things. Everyone knows I'm a giant fan of time manipulation, and much to my players' hatred at this point.
I'm a huge fan of that kind of other facet of Dunamancy, which is the manipulation of potential.
Yeah.
Right? That sort of really wild, abstract core of it all. It's like things could happen. You know, a coin's always being flipped in the air. And you just get to nudge it just a little bit.
It's very Philip K. Dick sci-fi, you know, and that's something I've always loved. I've sent you raving 8-page character backstories based on those ideas. Because I get excited about that. I get excited about alternate versions of yourself. You know, every time there was a Star Trek with, you know, Spock with a goatee, I was like, whoa, there could be two.
Yeah.
Another great example is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Evil Willow. If you want to get really geeky about this. So,
anyway, the Echo Knight.
No, don't make me focus. That's my job. I'm supposed to make you focus. So the Echo Knight is really cool. I'm going to tell you right now, mechanically, this is, for me, so far it feels like one of the strongest fighters I've encountered as far as a subclass, especially in execution of what this is. So
it's a really neat concept. Fans of Critical Role saw it pretty early on in the campaign, before they knew what Dunamancy really was, before they even knew what the Luxon beacons were. It's a mild Critical Role spoilers if you've gotten this far. But way back when they were in the city of Zadash, there was an attack, and this dark elf assassin person, sort of infiltrator, made off with this artifact. And as they were fighting him in the sewers, they saw that sort of these rippling shadows of himself were tearing off from his body and fighting them in tandem. And they were like, what the heck is happening? What is this? And it turns out that was the seed of the Echo Knight.
Yeah, well, what would become the Echo Knight? I'm sure, knowing Matt, he's already planned out the Echo Knight, like, you know, 100 years before now, using Talison's help and his immortality. But yeah, so we had some great previews of the Echo Knight. We saw more examples of that in the Battle for Rexentrum. And this is it, and you can play that. And you can play the Echo Knight. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be part of the Kryn dynasty, but it's very likely that you are associated with them if you are playing the Echo Knight. Obviously, this is a subclass that can exist on any world. Any kind of magical mistake that happens nearby, I feel like this could happen to you, right? Like if there's like a giant wild magic surge and it creates a shadow out of you or something like that. I think there are a lot of ways you can make this work. And it's a little Peter Pan-y as well.
With the shadow.
Shadow. So right off the bat, 3rd level Echo Knight gets what you want. You get to manifest your Echo. Kind of very important to the subclass. You can use a bonus action to manifest within 15 feet of you your Echo. This Echo has an armor class of 14 plus your proficiency bonus. It has exactly 1 hit point. It has immunity to all conditions, though. If you're making a kind of use saving throw, it gets a bonus. It uses your saving. It uses your saving throw bonus for any roll, and it's the same size of you. You can move it up to 30 feet away from you. Once you've done this, what is really cool is as a bonus action, you can teleport magically by swapping places with your Echo. So that means like you can move it 30 feet away. So already you're a teleporter at 3rd level.
Yeah, I really like, my favorite thing about the Echo Knight, even like at square one, is the way that it just automatically gives you just a little bit more battlefield control.
Yeah.
It makes me think a little bit of the Beastmaster Ranger, which is a dangerous thing to say.
Wow, controversial.
But in this case, it's very cool because what that pet did for you in Beastmaster, the best thing that it did for you was it gave you just another little area that you could lock down and control. This does it in a very cool, very magical sort of way. The story is totally different, and the mechanics are different too, but it's got that same sort of tactical bite to it, which I find very exciting.
Which fits really well in what we've been seeing in D&D recently, and like Unearthed Arcana and other subclasses, is we're seeing a lot more tangible pet like abilities that can be out there. And so not that your Echo is your pet, but still right off the bat you get like a really decent 15-foot teleportation, which is really cool and can add a lot of utility on the battlefield. The other thing that you can do with your Echo at 3rd level is when you take the attack action on your turn, any attack that you make with that action can originate from the space of your Echo. You make this choice for each attack. That's, again, very fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen Chronicles of Riddick. If you want to like really bring out like a random example, the head baddie in Chronicles of Riddick had a shadow.
Yeah.
Very much like that would move around the battlefield, and so he'd strike with him physically himself, and then his Echo was come up behind Riddick and strike him again.
There's already kind of a Riddick connection, right? Mercer and Vin Diesel played together, and that's where the Blood Hunter came from. Wait a second.
Well, and he's a fan of I know he's seen The Witcher. The Blood Hunter is based off of the last Witch Hunter, sorry. And also a fan of The Witcher, obviously.
He's dressed as Geralt for Halloween.
Yeah, there's a lot of Vin Diesel connections, I feel like, in this right now.
I love this Unleash Incarnation ability. It's super cool, right? The Manifest Echo already lets you sort of exchange your attack for an Echo's attack.
Right.
Which means that if you want to, you really could just let all of your attack actions come from the Echo.
Well, and this isn't even Unleash Incarnation yet. We're still on Manifest Echo.
Oh, so. You can swap out.
You can just swap out your attacks. So that's already great at 3rd level. That's just fun and tactically very interesting, especially if you're like using a bow or a ranged weapon. Things get very wonky very quickly in a good way. And also, you can, at 3rd level, when a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your Echo moves at least 5 feet away from it, you can use your reaction to make an opportunity attack against that creature as if you were in its Echo space. So it really is, you are occupying 2 spaces on the battlefield as once as a fighter. Very advantageous. And if you're really smart about like where you place yourself, you can probably like really get that attack of opportunity somehow, right?
Well, the gears in my brain are turning. I haven't really thought deeply about any of these subclasses yet because, not my department, working on the book, but I'm thinking about multi-class options here.
Yeah.
If you were an Echo Knight that also decided to multi-class into Rogue, how could you use your Echo to set up wild sneak attacks?
Absolutely wild sneak attacks.
Your Echo's got this like bow of shadows or something, and they're like 30 feet away from you. So the enemy's focused on the real you, and then out of nowhere, this bolt of phantom like energy right through their neck. Where'd that guy come from? Yeah.
Really good like narrative play as well to see that like cool. That shadow move across a hallway.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That horror movie moment.
And then like right when you're pinned down, right when that giant monster is about to grab your rogue, or like maybe it's already got your rogue in its jaws, and you're like, bye, and
just teleport.
Swap. And suddenly it chomps down on thin air, and your Echo, you lose your Echo, but still.
Yeah. But you're alive.
You're alive. Yeah.
So a lot of utility in the battlefield, a lot of control, I would say. I mean, if you've got your Echo out there on the battlefield and you're like 10 feet away, 15 feet away, and the enemy has to make a choice, has to decide to attack your Echo or attack you, and either way, or like if you're equally distanced, it's going to attack. Get an opportunity attack. You're going to get an opportunity attack on it somehow.
Yeah,
it's very nerve-wracking, and we still have another ability left. We have Unleash Incarnation. You heighten your Echo's fury. Whenever you take the attack action, you can make one additional melee attack from your Echo's positions. So now you're basically, if you're like 5th level or something like that, you're getting a 3rd attack as a fighter at 3rd level. This is minus your, action surge, by the way. So you're definitely the fighter who moves the fastest in terms of attacks. It's pretty impressive, actually.
It's like we might be getting some questions about abilities.
Yeah, we're not going to answer any of those.
Oh my God.
No, we are.
Todd, you're so mean.
I am mean. It's Monday morning, everyone. There's a major book release coming out. So
Unleash Incarnation. Jappleton asks, Unleash Incarnation doesn't require the Echo to be manifested, does it? I guess it technically doesn't, but like you need the Echo to make use of it. Right.
You can heighten your Echo's fury. When you take the attack action, you can make one additional. Yeah. I mean, technically, by the reading of this, you don't have to have your Echo out by now.
But it does need you to have it does need to have an Echo's position.
Yeah.
So if the Echo is nowhere, I don't know, you could get some weird metaphysical reading, like the Echo's manifestation is like, I as a DM would not allow you to do that if the Echo were manifested. Yeah.
Right now, as the wording of this goes, I don't think that this would really apply to like being on your unseen servant as well. I think things get really kind of dicey, and I think this is a lot of DM's call on a lot of things. Honestly, like existentially, I'm interested in what happens if your Echo Knight dies and your shadow is still out.
Yeah.
I always love that kind of stuff. Like I had a character die who had mirror image out, and I just made each mirror image like react to his death.
That's so you.
I like the reality stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's very interesting. So at 7th level, we've got the Echo Knight feature. And can we just say, like, the artwork in this book is amazing.
I love this art. I love this character.
I love how subtle the Echo Knight artwork actually is, because I don't even register that as its shadow right away.
But it actually kind of blends in with like the watercolor splash.
You just think it's the background. It's funny. So I don't want to say this is my favorite fighter because I do that a lot. This is right up there with the Rune Knight in Unearthed Arcana in terms of like
the Rune Knight.
Yeah, I really like the Rune Knight. I really love Echo Knight. I guess I'm just like knights. Yeah. So Echo Avatar. This is at 7th level. You can temporarily transfer your consciousness to your Echo. This is like having Mislead at 7th level as a fighter. If you're a big fan of Loki, this itches that scratch pretty quick. So as an action, you can see through your Echo's eyes, hear through its ears. During this time, you are deafened and blinded. You can sustain this effort for up to 10 minutes, and you can end it at any time. This requires an action. While your Echo is being used in this way, you can actually send it up to 1,000 feet away from you without being destroyed.
What's the usual limit? Like 30 feet?
Yeah. So you're not shoving this 1,000 feet away from you and teleporting, to that location. That would get pretty OP.
Yeah.
But this is a good little spy, right?
Yeah. Hold on. I want to see the other feature. Could you teleport there, or is it only when it's within 30 feet?
As a bonus action, you can teleport, magically swapping places with your Echo at cost of...
Regardless of the distance between the two of you.
Wow. Yeah, you're only sacrificing 15 feet of your actual movement, regardless of the distance between the two of you. So you can totally do that.
That's pretty sweet. But of course.
So I wouldn't bother with Rogue, by the way. I would
but now you're solid snaking your way through a dungeon, and if this Echo gets seen, right, it's still only got 1 hit point.
Yeah.
So if this thing gets
one hit, it's game over. Right? Yeah. It is, and it's not like the size of Familiar or something like that. So like,
right, it's a person-sized thing.
Oh, it's very interesting. So. Yeah, I mean, that's great. But it is definitely your shadow, so it doesn't look identical to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I have to say that I wouldn't even bother going into Rogue for this kind of thing, because I would just do something.
Oh, like multi-classing?
I would use feats that improve my stealth, you know? I mean, obviously you want I feel like you really want stealth to get like the best bang for your buck with some of this stuff, and deception even.
Maybe you take a what's the one? A criminal background or a spy background.
Yeah.
And that gives you some of the roguish like spice that you want going into this class.
And then if you're human prodigy, you know, right, to get that really like OP level of stealth.
Skulker feat.
Yeah, Skulker is great.
I mean, if you really want to lean into the stealth aspect of this guy, or you could really be this tactical fightery guy and just sort of misdirect people.
You get to do a little bit of everything with the Echo Knight. That's what I love about it. I'm like, even if you're in a dungeon, you push your shadow into harm's way.
Yep.
let your shadow take the brunt of this damage.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, tank with your shadow.
Tank with your shadow.
It goes down in a hit, but it's got a pretty good armor class. It's what, 14?
Yeah, it's still 14. I mean,
it's like that's 16 at level 3.
Well, yeah.
Like that's a person in scale mail. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's solid. So 1,000 feet. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're an excellent scout now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You are the new party scout. You can do a little bit of everything. So I can't believe they let Matt get away with this. I think there might be some favoritism. I feel like the Echo Knight is just too good. No, it's perfect. I love it.
I think we got a question that just came in.
Did I? Mm-hmm. Stop being a better host than me. Can the Echo do some squeezing mist form stuff and go through cracks? I would argue no, because this is getting already like pretty strong. I mean, this is already very strong. So certainly that would be fun, but there's no wording like that in it. Yeah. So Shadow Martyr at 10th level. I love this because we were just talking about this. Like, I feel like every class should have an ability that helps somebody else. This helps you or someone else, but you can make your Echo throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature that you can see. Before the attack roll is made, you can use your reaction to teleport the Echo to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the targeted creature. The attack roll that triggered the reaction is instead made against your Echo. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until a long or short rest.
Yeah.
This could be the thing that saves a member of your party. I love it. It has a lot of utility. Again, you're controlling the battlefield a little bit. You are losing your shadow when you do this.
Maybe. Right?
Maybe.
If you've got a 12 armor class wizard that someone like an assassin has just snuck up behind them, you throw your shadow in there. If the assassin rolls like, 16 at this point, suddenly that Echo Knight's just taking it, living, and is ready to shove a sword into their gut. Yeah. But I mean, usually the shadow's going down, but there are some moments where it just turns on a dime completely.
I love the implications of this narratively. I think this is like, I love imagining this combat.
Yeah, you can see it in your mind. I love visualizing the idea of it. And Critical Role has got their big Dwarven Forge sets all the time, so they can really have that tactical mini action. But even if you're not counting squares, things like that martyr ability, don't say you must be within 30 feet of the target or whatever like that. No, it's an ally you can see. And so if you think you can see the ally, just teleport the guy over there, and then ching, it gets it.
You gotta start You have to start making your Shadow Mini now.
Yes. Just like
it's your opportunity to have Shadow Link.
Yes. I love Zelda so much. Yes.
Or Nega Scott from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, but they're your friend. That's the best thing. Now they're your buddy.
Yeah, but they're your buddy. They're your buddy. Until the DM, like, I would totally separate your shadow in a heartbeat and make it evil.
Oh, what a boss fight that would be.
Yeah, you eventually have to fight yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I can imagine a boss fight against like a shadow dragon or something.
Yeah.
And you can see all these other like maybe there's this shadow dragon that's been snipping echoes off of someone. And it's just got this army of echoes that it has at its beck and call. Oh,
there's so much fun.
There's a plot seed right there. Can we put that in the book now? Just scribble it.
Like a lot can go wrong.
Sharpie.
Evil notes to the DM on how to manipulate stuff is fun. Certainly you don't want to like limit your players and like hurt them. I do like to kneecap players a little bit for like one adventure to like show them why they chose this class. Like when a wizard loses their spell book.
Yeah.
Like it's that's
screw
why.
you, DM. Joe Percent asks, question, if you were multi-classing Moon Druid or you are polymorph, would it make a copy of your beast form? That's a good question. Let's check the wording on that.
So I will say about this ability check, it's using your ability checks. So
Oh yeah, there was a previous question. What stats do you use if the Echo makes an ability check? Yes, it uses your abilities.
I don't know if I would
gray
let that
image
happen.
of you.
Yeah.
The last intelligence destroyed. I think that's a DM's call. I
don't think it breaks anything.
I don't think it breaks anything. I think it could be cool.
It's not going to gain any of the abilities of that beast form.
Yeah.
It really is going to be your AC plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
I mean 14 plus your proficiency bonus. I don't see this getting manipulated.
Your saving throw bonuses.
It has to be medium, right?
No, same size as you. That's one spot where it might get a little bit dicey because the beast might be larger.
Yeah, because you could be a T-Rex or something.
I think that would be cool, though.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, if you're polymorphed into a Tyrannosaurus and you want to make a T-Rex Echo, that would be kick-ass. I'd do that.
Show me how it breaks the game, and I'll be excited to talk about it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a fine DM call to make.
Yeah, that's of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely a DM call. It's interesting, though. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
So that leads us to the 14th level ability.
Oh, I think
we did miss
on this page.
Yeah, right.
Reclaim potential.
Yeah, so at 15th level, you've learned to absorb the fleeting magic of your echo. Again, your echo is this potential you. It's this potential version of yourself.
We've turned to the next page, by the way.
Yeah. We are now on page 184. It's got a lovely wizard reading a book. For those at home.
Just until the page on the screen updates. We'll read it out loud for you.
All right. Well, go ahead and sorry, I don't have a file name for you.
There we go.
There we go. So reclaim potential. You've learned to absorb the fleeting magic of your echo. When an echo of yours is destroyed by taking damage, you can gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus your Constitution modifier, provided you don't already have temporary hit points. That's for the rules. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier. You can regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's decent. It basically is incentive for you to sacrifice your echo for the greater good. And it knows that you will eventually lose your echo.
It synergizes well with the Shadow Martyr that we just saw.
Yeah, exactly. So you sacrificing yourself, your shadow, is beneficial to you now if it gets hurt. Plus, let's face it, your echo is going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're in the thick of it. You're tanking.
The thing's got one hit point.
Thing's got one hit point. And even if it goes down, well, great. You get some extra temporary hit points. So it doesn't seem like crazy OP at 15th level, but sorry if I have coffee breath.
Oh no, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think this ability has an interesting twist on a general rule. So usually when you gain temporary hit points, it's the higher number of temporary hit points that count. So if you're like a warlock that casts false life and you have 1 temporary hit point and you gain, say, 7 temp HP through false life, you now have 7 instead of 1.
Yeah.
With this ability, if you have any temporary hit points at all, you don't gain any. It doesn't supersede like it usually does. And usually, my gut reaction when I saw it was, that's odd. I wonder why they said that. And I think it's actually actively encouraging you to not just be kind of turtling behind your echo and letting it go out and like, go, my minion, but it wants you to be in the fray as well. So if you've just been hanging around trying to stockpile temp HP, even if it, just trying to get a high roll and go to the max amount of temp HP you can have or something like that, it doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to be right out there so that you'll be taking damage and burning through that shield before you can do it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's strong.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a Legion of One.
Right. Our final feature.
18th level. You gain a bonus action to create 2 echoes with your Manifest Echo feature. I feel like this is Laura Bailey's fault with the Trickery domain. And for all of those who keep on telling me how the Trickery domain isn't powerful, you're not using your imagination necessarily when that comes to it is a very sneaky mechanical class. You can heal using your illusion. So there's a lot of it, mechanically it doesn't look like it at first, but like situationally the Trickery domain is amazing. So you can use your bonus action to create 2 echoes with your Manifest Echo feature. These echoes can coexist. If you try to create a 3rd echo, the previous 2 echoes are destroyed. Anything you do from one of the echo's positions can be done from the others instead. In addition, when you roll initiative and have no uses of your Unleash Incarnation feature left, you can regain 1 use of that feature. This is really great because you are the Echo Knight. Say your GM has been like throwing fight after fight after fight after. That means anytime you're having to roll initiative, you can still get a shadow. You can still get an echo.
It feels just like the way the Battle Master regains superiority dice.
Even like eventually the Arcane Archer, same thing. Eventually the Arcane Archer gets a similar ability because you don't want to not be the subclass that you are, right?
Right.
like, come on, let me do it once. Like, I don't want to just be a fighter. So, yeah, this is really strong. This lets you have a lot of fun. This is a very in the front, super powerful fight. It's really fun, and I don't feel like it stops being fun. And then you get like 2 more. You get 2.
Right. I mean, it's just double the fun. Yeah. Got some questions. Speedy Avatar asks, can you make an additional attack with each echo when you get this feature? There's a line here that says anything you can do from one echo's position can be done from the others instead. That makes me think no. You get 1 extra attack. You can choose
you just have more chances.
Which one?
Which again, if you're being really tricky in the battlefield and you're trying to really provoke that disengage.
Oh, the opportunity attack. Yeah.
Opportunity attack.
But yeah, it's like you only have 1 reaction per turn, right? You still can't make 2 opportunity attacks, 1 with each. You got to use your 1 reaction per turn in order to make the attack.
The other question is, there's the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide has a version of the Tiefling. It's a variant, and they don't actually have a shadow themselves. Well, this is the Echo Knight. This shadow is more your potentiality, not literally the shadow that you cast.
Not a literal shadow.
Yeah, it's who you might have been 5 seconds from now.
Yeah.
Or in my universe, it might have been someone completely different who's a total dick.
Pulling from the multiverse theory.
Yeah. Who then like cast wish to become real because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm timey-wimey. So yeah, it would still work.
I think that's a great story seed though, right? The tiefling who has no shadow is like seeking a strange magic to create a shadow of their own because they feel self-conscious about it or something, and they accidentally pull an echo of themselves from another dimension or another timeline. It's like, whoa, this isn't what I meant.
And again, the narrative, what I like narratively is you can make the echo. What if you were playing twins with someone? What if Vex and Vax, like one of them was an Echo Knight?
Oh my gosh!
But the other one was actually the Shadow. And that was like the big drop at the end of the game. Whoa. Hack writing by Todd. No, I don't know. It would have been fun. So we got to move a little bit faster, and this stream may go a little bit long.
Oh yeah, well, we spent like half an hour on 1 subclass.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So we may go over an hour. So everyone be prepared for that. I hope you're okay with it.
Yeah, let's we're getting into Chronurgy, so let's pick up the pace. This is what he has to deal with every day.
This is the last show we're doing together. I'll be social distancing you. So we've got some wizard subclasses. We've got Chronurgy. So this is basically the manipulation of time, the flow of time. I love timey-wimey stuff. I'm very excited for this. If you're a fan of Doctor Who or Doctor Strange, this is going to make you exceptionally happy. It's very, actually both of the wizard subclasses are very control heavy.
Feels good
in different ways. Yeah, I love control. And also control the video game if you want to really get into it. And I'll be playing Graviturgy tomorrow.
Yeah.
By default. So we've got the Chronurgist.
Chronurgist.
I want to say Chronomancer.
Yeah.
But Chronurgist can, at second level, they have Chronal Shift. You can magically exert a limited amount of control over time around a creature as a reaction. After you see a creature within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can force that creature to re-roll. You make this decision after you see whether that roll succeeds or fails. You can use this. You can use this ability twice, and you regain expended uses of this after a long rest. This is not unlike the Diviner's ability. I wouldn't say. Depends on what your point of view as powerful goes, because it is forcing them to re-roll. If they, however, have like a super high, plus associated with that roll, it may not matter.
Right. It's a little bit more chaotic than the Diviners, which makes sense. This is someone playing with time itself.
Time itself, yeah. This person shouldn't have absolute control, otherwise it gets kind of manipulative. They're not prophet. They're just like rewinding to see what the next roll is going to be.
Right. I think it's very neat, especially if you think about it like the Diviner's feature, because the Diviner gets to know from the beginning, here's the two rolls that I've got, and they might be, one really high, one really low. You know what you're doing with those. Give one to an ally, one to an enemy. Or they could be like, they're like an 11 and a 12, and you're like, well, what the heck am I going to do with these dice? But with the Chronergist, you've always got the roll, so you never truly know.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat.
Now this makes me want to make a gambler who is a Chronergist.
Oh, yes. Very cool.
I mean, why wouldn't you have done Diviner? But still, this is like fun to let's see where the dice roll in this one more time. Also at second level, which I love, you gain an intelligence modifier to your initiative rolls. This makes sense. It's very clean. There are a lot of subclasses that kind of give you that sort of thing, a bonus to your initiative. I think this is always more powerful for the wizard, right? The wizard can do a lot before the fighters, the paladin, the ranger take action, or the barbarian. Like the wizard can lay the groundwork for how the battle is about to progress.
Yeah, this is a very debuff heavy wizard already.
Right. Yeah. Whereas there's the ranger. Is it the Gloomstalker that gets the initiative bonus?
I don't remember.
It's kind of like it has Dread Ambusher. So the Gloomstalker.
That sounds Gloomstalker.
The Gloomstalker Ranger has a bonus to their initiative, but you don't necessarily want the Ranger to just jump in, right? Because maybe send a fireball out first.
I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age lately, and AoE is really, really nasty, on your own party members. So I'm like, I have a greater appreciation for this now.
So that's the solid second level. So at sixth level, Momentary Stasis, this is pretty great.
Yes.
As an action, you can magically force a large or smaller creature you see within 60 feet of you, good range, to make a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC. Unless the saving throw is a success, that creature is encased in a field of magical energy until the end of your next turn, or until the creature takes any damage. While encased in this way, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. Aim at a number of once. You regain all expended uses of this after a long rest. This is super powerful.
Yep.
Let us tell you why. This is like a temporary hold person. Only you can do it a whole bunch of times. Not really worrying about your concentration.
Yeah. Not
using spell slots. People are getting advantage on that target.
People talk about Stunning Strike a lot for the monk, how it's wild. This isn't. So the reason why Stunning Strike is wild is because it stuns, and that's great, but it lasts until the end of the monk's turn, which means that they can capitalize on the stun and have crazy advantage attacks. This also lasts until the end of your turn, and while you don't necessarily, it doesn't give them that stun condition, and it breaks if you hit them. it still gives you time to like set up your own combo, right? You put them where you want them, you freeze them, and then you get to choose what you do right after that, which is it's incredible.
It really is. Like it makes the party very strategic at that point.
Do you think the Chronurgist would be a solid 2-level dip for an Artificer?
Interesting. Yeah, I do, especially if I like to play an Artificer that is very clock-minded because I used to repair anti-clocks and I'm just a guy on the brain.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of an Artificer who is also maybe created a device so powerful that they're actually, they're actually setting the clocks back.
Cool. There's a French anime cartoon called Wakfu that has a villain that's very like Chronurgist Artificer, and that just makes me think of that.
Yeah.
Super cool show. Anyway, yes, the concept's awesome. I love it.
Very Japanese anime.
Yeah.
So I would totally allow that. Halfling Luck and the Luck Feat and the Chronurgist, they all work together well. I actually feel like this. I was almost going to play one in a game that we're playing tomorrow, and immediately I was looking at feats that maybe made sense that could like push that time element a little bit further. The Lucky Feat is one of them. I do feel the Lucky Feat is more powerful than other feats. I would limit it to maybe 2 if I was the DM, not 3. First off, but it definitely fits into that time mentality or alertness where you again get another bonus to your initiative. So you're always first. And I think that could be very annoying if you were like the fighter and you're always first. I think that would be kind of annoying. But if you're the wizard, you really are helping your party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically.
Right. We're talking about like features that help with teamwork. This wizard really seems to be focused around teamwork in a huge way already.
Yeah, you're helping control the battlefield for everyone. You see a threat, you see one of your friends who's clearly going to die. You can just be like, boop, no, that villain's frozen. No matter what, at least that person can get healed, moved away, whatever. Yeah. It's not always about killing. It's about saving.
Yeah, this momentary stasis, it's the sort of thing that I think if you're a player who's new to like tactical combat gameplay, you might look at it and think, oh, cool, wait. If you attack him, like the feature ends, like it doesn't actually let you do anything really. But if you're someone who's played a lot of like MMORPGs, like if you played World of Warcraft, and you think of the polymorph spell in World of Warcraft, it's single target crowd control. It's a way to like, there's a terrible scary wizard there. It's a Constitution save, right? It won't work so well against ogres and dragons and big beefy guys. You have to really test your luck there. But against a wizard that's casting spells, or like there's a wraith or something, you're just like, stay right there for a minute. We've got all of these other guys to deal with. So if you just hold still for a moment, that would make our lives a lot easier.
And how terrifying is like a paralyzed wraith?
Oh my God.
Like I imagine like the spectral clothes are still slowly floating and its eyes are like looking at you. Almost like Superman looking at Flash. Like they're aware of what you just did.
Yeah.
In a horrible way.
They're pissed off about it. Yes.
So that's really fun. I mean, like, what if you froze the alien, for example? It's just like, a death slot is jumping at you and you're just like, stop, let's take a moment.
Wait. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we run.
Yes. Yeah.
And because you're not using your magical effect, and I would take a dip into sorcerer so I could do another spell, because this is
so you really could quicken spell something. Oh.
So you could still do a full-blown spell to teleport away, maybe.
Yeah.
Be real sneaky.
Yeah, that's great. Stuff like this interacts with bonus action spells really well, because it takes your action, but you're not technically casting a spell. It's just a magical effect.
I'm always looking for a way to manipulate that stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great little interaction. If you had taken
any kind of dip, thunder step away.
Yeah.
I talked to you about a teleporter recently. So from there, I mean, that's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
And I do find that ability. I find Whole Person kind of creepy, and Whole Monster. Just don't play it that way. Don't play it the creepy way. It is kind of horrifying in that sense of. I know I make a lot of movie references, but I think of X-Men First Class. Oh man, Magneto with the coin.
Oh my gosh.
With his villain, and it's not like a big battle. It's just slow motion. Kills the villain.
Yeah. Kills
this Nazi.
Yeah.
And it's one of the weirdly best pieces of like I've killed the villain in this horrifying way that has dramatic implications for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And also horrifies the audience.
Like, I did the right thing objectively, but also,
like it stops feeling like a comic book for like, because you're like, ooh, this is really like real.
Yeah.
And certainly that can move on from there. Arcane abeyance.
Abeyance.
Oh, that's not a word I get to use a lot on a daily basis.
I need to look at my thesaurus for that one.
When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 4th or lower, you can condense, I love this, you can condense the spell's magic into a mote. The spell is frozen in time at the moment of its casting and is held within a gray bead for 1 hour. And let me find the next page. So this is like a little bit reminiscent of the Artificer's ability to store magic within a device. You know, I like to store magic inside of coins I can give out to people so they can like tap the coin and flip the coin and then you know, fireball shoots out.
It's a little reminiscent of the bead of possibility that we see Critical Role folks find inside the beacon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that we've been seeing. I watch the show every week, and I'm blanking on Widowgast.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I've not rewritten his name completely to be Widowgast, since he's apparently renaming all spells after himself. Yeah, Widowgast. In fact, all these features should have been called Widowgast.
All of them, every single one.
Every subclass should have been called Widowgast. Actually, I think if you look in the credits, Widowgast wrote this book.
Oh yeah, he wrote this book.
Yeah, chapter 4, Widowgast options. Yeah, it's great. Great. Liam O'Brien, you've done such a good job with this book. Who knew that you had written so much of this?
Oh my God.
So the object in question, this bead that contains your magic, has an AC of 15. Good.
It's a nice bead.
Well, what's the AC of a fireball?
Yeah.
It's got 1 hit point and is immune to poison or psychic damage.
Sure.
When the duration ends or the bead is destroyed, I don't know why I'm laughing, it vanishes in a flash of light and the spell is lost. A creature holding the bead can use its action to release the spell, whereupon the bead disappears. The spell uses your spell attack bonus, your DC. The spell treats the creature who released it as the caster for all purposes. Once you create a bead with this feature, you can't do so again for a short or long rest.
Cool. This feature kind of buries the lead a little bit.
Well, I mean,
it's so cool though.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
You're letting
You're like condensing a spell you have into a marble and giving it to a friend and saying, "Hey, you can use this whenever you feel like it,"
which is insane.
It's awesome.
You give your, we are absolutely going, I'm going to let everyone know at home, we are going longer than an hour. If D&D, the Twitch channel needs to move past us, that's totally fine. I just feel like we really need to cover
this. Yeah, we want to talk about this stuff.
How often does this sort of thing get to happen?
That's a good question. If you store delayed blast fireball in the bead, does it damage shake up? That is a very, very high level spell. It's a 7th level spell.
It doesn't. It
cannot go in the bead.
It will not fit into this. But you give the rogue a fireball.
Yeah.
You make them an arsonist. You give them invisibility just in case things go wrong.
There are a lot of spells that suddenly become a lot of kind of like subpar spells that suddenly become very good when, like, you know, a rogue can cast them or a fighter can cast them or something like that. Like Cloud of Daggers, not usually that great. Why would you prepare it? But you prepare your Cloud of Daggers, give it to your rogue, and he's going through like a 10-foot wide corridor. Suddenly he's, you know, running from the law, and it's shing, all this little abattoir appears in the middle of the corridor while he gets away. Yeah.
Oh, also giving rogue lightning bolts.
Oh my gosh!
Because if they are in those corridors, that's just they're out.
Yeah.
Right. Like I need to burn a path out of here. I don't know. Do you get melded into stone? Yeah, you do. You can manipulate. You can stone shape it.
That's cool.
As a wizard. So
I like that.
You really can. This is kind of like what I like about the Chronurgist, and I'm jealous I'm not getting to play it tomorrow now. You really can sub your party for success. You're like taking a look at who is good at what, and you're like, okay, I'm going to give you this spell, I'm going to give you this spell, I'm going to give you this spell.
Cryptic Muffin asks, how does this interact with concentration? So, it
applies to them.
Yeah, it applies to the guy who uses the bead. because they are treated as the caster for all other purposes.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, so that becomes strong.
Yeah.
Because if you're giving it to the fighter,
suddenly you're spreading your concentration.
Or the paladin, you're spreading your concentration around your group, who doesn't normally need to worry about concentration. I mean, if you give it to the paladin, then that gets rid of smite.
Yeah, paladin likes having concentration,
but for a fighter or a rogue, you are now there's more magic on the battlefield.
Yeah, and it's a little bit dangerous because the fighter is getting hit a lot. Maybe they'll lose the concentration.
It's true,
but also they've got a high Constitution score. Maybe they can hang on to the concentration just fine.
Ooh, you know what I like?
Yeah,
you give them Shadow Blade.
Oh, I love Shadow Blade.
Yeah,
a rogue with Shadow Blade.
Finally, you give them the beat of Shadow Blade. You can give it to the fighter. You give it to the Echo Knight.
Oh, I love
that. And it's just dice.
That's awesome.
It's just murder because you're casting out as a full caster. It's 3rd level.
You're throwing this blade around as your Echo Knight. Your shadows, your echoes throwing this blade around. That's awesome.
Here's a Shadow Blade for you. Here's a Shadow Blade.
Everyone gets a Shadow Blade. Look under your seat. There's a Shadow Blade.
We could probably do. Okay, we'll do like a whole episode just on that feature. It's very strong and makes the wizard really fun.
Yeah, very creative.
It feels magical. Right? And not all the schools of magic feel magical.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying it that way.
It gives you that sort of sense of creativity and like you're tampering with forces just a little bit beyond your control.
Yeah, it's enough for me to like get real quirky with. Like I was getting quirky with the Conjurist, the Conjurer and its teleportation ability because it's an ability. That resets if you cast a conjuration spell. That means if you subclass into a sorcerer, you can like infinitely teleport. And I love finding manipulations like that.
Galagoon 4 asks, would a sorcerer be able to use meta magic? Off the top of my head, I'd need to check the sorcerer text because it's not the spellcaster who is. But if you gave this to a sorcerer, let's say you're a wizard who gives this to a sorcerer. The sorcerer is technically the caster. I think yes. I think if you gave this pearl to a sorcerer, they could use their meta magic on it. If you were like a multi-classed chronergist wizard / sorcerer, I don't think you could infuse your own meta magic into the pearl. I don't.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Yeah.
But I like the tricky.
Yeah, the trick is cool. I think it would be cool as a DM to allow you to infuse your own sorcery points if you went with that weird wizard sorcerer multi-class. No one would do that in the first place unless they had a good reason.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. I really like it. I love it. At first, I wasn't like.
Would a barbarian be able to use the bead whilst raging? I would say no. They can't cast spells.
They can't cast spells.
Can't cast spells.
Yeah, that's a big no now. Don't make the barbarian more of a headache than he is. Convergent futures. This is the stuff I like. You can peer through the possible features and magically pull one of those events around you, ensuring a particular outcome. When you are a creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can use your reaction to ignore the die roll and decide whether the number rolled is the minimum needed to succeed or one less than the number of your choice. So you can make it succeed or fail by 1. When you use this feature, you gain 1 level exhaustion. There's the kicker. Only by finishing a long rest can you remove the level exhaustion. Gained in this way. So
I think the fact that it succeeds by 1 is an interesting point.
Someone can save it with like bardic inspiration.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. If someone has, here's that thing about teamwork again, right? If the enemy is working as a team, they might be able to succeed anyway.
Yeah,
that's neat.
Or the enemy can.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is kind of like if this was being used in a save or die kind of situation, right? Disintegrate is happening. This is where diviners can get real dark.
Ooh.
Like if you roll your dice that day and you're like, I'm not going to attack.
Yeah.
I'm not going to attack somebody today. I'm going to wait till I know I can make them fail and be disintegrated. Then that's your day.
Oof.
Yeah, diviners are monsters.
That's spooky.
Spooky stuff. Sorry, yeah. I play everything dark.
Yeah.
And that's our Chronurgy.
We've got one last question. Alt F4 will help. 4th or lower wizard spells that take longer than an action to cast could be cast as an action now. No, you can turn them into a bead as an action. Their full casting time would take place when the bead is used, is the way I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, everything is the same as if the wizard cast it, except for concentration. That's how I would rule it. Otherwise, it gets really weird.
Yeah, a point of origin from the guy who used it and stuff like that.
Which makes things like invisibility way more powerful. Like you can cast invisibility for your entire group and now send them out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I love this wizard subclass. It's super cool. I love how much of a team player they are.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's lovely. I think it's going to engender a lot of those kind of, any comic book movie you see a lot of, like the end scene for Avengers, everyone's casting powers off each other. I love moments like that. Mechanically, I want that.
Oh, like they're reflecting off the shield, and
yeah, I want more of that in all tabletop games. I feel like it's maybe the biggest failing that tabletop games have.
It's the perfect medium for it. It's a team-based game. Yeah,
you're going to be in a group.
Yeah.
So it is hard to quantify those effects. I think mechanically more so long term, but I think it's worth the headache.
I think it's so. I saw a very, very early version of all of these subclasses. Right at the beginning of the book, Matt basically had all these ideas written down by the time initial development began, as soon as other people beyond Mercer were brought in. And so seeing the way that his concepts were molded and shaped by the actual D&D design team is really incredible to me. And I think that their role should not be forgotten. The role of like Jeremy Crawford and folks like that, it can't be ignored. This is not a one-person Matt Mercer,
Dan Dillon, Ben Petrosor. Like this was not the work of just one human being. But Matt works incredibly hard, and also still finds time to answer people's stupid questions via text.
The fact that these subclasses are so evocative, that their story is so immediate, that speaks to Matt's great strengths. And the fact that they are so tight and so cool mechanically really speaks to the strengths of the actual D&D design team.
Yeah, and you can tell he just loves. Yeah, exactly. He just loves these ideas.
Yeah.
And if you don't love a subclass idea, it's not gonna live.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to love it a little bit, and that's I would say the tendency for them to end up overpowered at first. At least for myself when I'm trying, because you're like, I'm so in love with this idea,
and then you like self-correct, and suddenly it's underpowered, and it's like,
and then you
dang
it! Send it to Joey, and then
back.
Yeah, then you can send it to Joey or Matt, and then say like, that's no,
right?
That's a little OP.
Yeah,
and then you have a wake up call. That's why you have friends. Graviturgist. I am actually, so I do like timey-wimey stuff. I'm pretty obsessive about gravity powers as well. Control is one of the best video games to come out last year. I would argue probably the best one.
Wow.
It is all about telekinesis.
Cool.
It is evocative. It's great storytelling. I like gravity powers. I would put Magneto as a character who is very much, obviously they're manipulating magnetic fields, which, if you want to know what gravity actually is, but manipulating metal. But it really is. Like, if you wanted to see one of the best examples of a gravity wizard, I would take a look at it.
Yeah, even if it's not literally gravity stuff, Magneto's powers can get the feel of it. Yeah.
You got metal on your shoe. We are pressed not to find a way Magneto could screw you over.
Yeah.
So the Graviturgist magic, the Graviturgy magic right here, right at second level, adjust density. This is interesting. As an action, you can magically alter the weight of one object or creature you can see within 30 feet of you. The object or the creature must be larger or smaller. The target's weight is halved or doubled for up to a minute until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell. So while the weight of the creature is halved, by this effect, the creature's speed increases by 10 feet. It can jump twice as far. It has disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. While the weight of the creature is doubled, by this effect, the creature's speed is reduced by 10 feet. It has advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. Upon reaching 10th level in this class, you can target an object or a creature that is huge or smaller.
Cool.
I already love this already out of the gate, because this is either great for someone or really terrible for someone. And it's so situational. Like, if your fighter is already right in it with another fighter.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm gonna make you heavy. Like, I'm just gonna make you heavy so you do more damage. That's really fun.
Yeah.
If the rogue is trying to get somewhere, you're just like, go get light.
Yeah.
Or if a barbarian's like charging at you, make them light and make all their strength saving throws suck, because then your other wizard is going to pop in there, right? If you got another wizard or anyone has a control effect, like, say, Everett's Black Tentacles, things get real creepy real fast. Like, you have no gravity, you're super light, and tentacles are just battering you around, and it's dark.
God, this is so funny to me.
What?
This image is so hilarious. I'm just thinking of like the moon landing and watching like your rogue on the moon, and they're like, woo!
Yeah, there's a lot of comical. Like, it's a comical way to die.
Oh my God, it's like your rag doll.
Your enemy is just like floating like a balloon, and it's just getting like battered by Everett's Black Tentacles back and forth, and it can't make its saving throw. Right?
It's so funny.
or you can help someone out of it. Like, this is at second level. This is already very evocative. If you like control powers, and that's all the Graviturgist is.
Yeah.
You do some evil shenanigans. I have to make a character like by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Based on this.
Yeah. Oh my God. Whew. Okay. Yes, and also, if you're a DM, look at that, and suddenly that's an environmental effect you can steal for like your outer planes and stuff.
Because it's an object as well, so
yeah, just like you go to the plane of air, suddenly gravity is weaker on the plane of air, maybe, and then everyone has the low gravity effect applied to them.
That's true. Object or creature. So you can talk to your DM and like, hey, can I shoot arrows further?
Oh, low gravity arrow.
Yeah, low gravity arrow or high intensity arrow.
This is the sort of thing that like makes you talk about physics at the game table, which I'm not usually a big fan of, but maybe in this case, maybe in the case of Dunamancy, it's worth it. Yeah.
Okay. You good?
Yep, all good.
All right. So you can like launch a rock over a castle with a message and stuff.
Yeah. Use the catapult spell for a super light rock and just go all the way.
And then drop it so it's heavy.
This is so
There's
wild.
There's a lot that can be done with this. We're only on second level, everybody. So
this is so goofy.
Does the Graviturgy second level feature stack?
Magical effects don't stack with themselves,
no.
But if a Grav used it on a barbarian and another caster used it enlarge, those two effects would both apply. I think.
It would sort of, but I understand the barbarian is getting advantage to strength checks when it rages. You can't have triple advantage. You can't have quadruple advantage. That's not really going to stack in that way.
I would say as long as you're combining it with a effect that has a different name, the effects that would stack. Yeah. But you can't just have an army of Graviturgists making a 1/16th density. This is something, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, then you just crush them to death.
Yeah, exactly. They float out into the stratosphere.
I'm gonna have to make a totally new character because I cannot, shockingly, shove Avern into this. I can't find a good reason why I'd be able to do that. Right. You learned how to manipulate gravity around a living being. Whenever you cast a spell on a creature, you can move the target 5 feet to an unoccupied space of your choice if the target is willing to move. The spell hits with an wait. Let me back up here. You learn how to manipulate gravity around a living being. Whenever you cast a spell on a creature, you can move that target 5 feet to an unoccupied space of your choice if the target is willing to move. The spell hits with an attack, or if it fails a saving throw against the spell.
I see.
So this is not useless.
There are 3 conditions. Then.
So you can do something like, okay, I'm going to, for whatever reason, heal you or target you with some kind of buff, and then I move you 5 feet, maybe out of danger, like out of the fire.
Yeah. And this is forced movement. It doesn't provoke opportunity
attack at all.
Yeah, so you're out of there.
Yeah, and it also means like if there is like wall of fire, just because they put you in there, doesn't mean that it provokes until the end of the next turn.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get a little fiddly with that rule because it's funnier. If you Eldritch Blast someone right into like a wall of thorns, I'm like, I don't know why you're not getting hurt.
Right.
Like, yeah, mechanically it's mean. So this is really great. And So is there a limit anywhere on this for the number on a
Nope.
creature?
Whenever you affect a creature with a spell.
So you cast Fireball and you knock everybody back 5 feet.
Oh my god, yes, very cool. All fireballs should do that anyway.
Yeah. Now you're getting the super cool Fireball.
Yeah, this is the awesome Fireball.
There's a lot that can be, Magic Missile is automatic hit, so you're automatically hitting every target.
Actually,
is this saying only a creature that whenever you cast a spell on a creature, there's no limit.
Yeah. The spell hits it with an attack or fails a saving throw against the spell. I just said all fireballs should push creatures out.
Yeah.
But this could also be a fireball that sucks them in. Well, so you cast a fireball against a bunch of creatures in a wide radius. They all get sucked in. Now another friend of yours uses an even tighter area of effect spell to get them all also.
Then you drop Everett's Black Tentacles.
Oh yes, because the fireball radius is gigantic.
So you burn them now. No, ask them up.
Hello.
What's the other tentacle power? It's like Hunger of Hadar, where it's like just darkness and slathering,
milky white tentacles. Yeah.
I love tentacle magic. I got a lot of tentacles on my.
Oh my god, you do, Todd. Should I be worried?
No, and I'm not. Let's be clear. I like it in a creepy sense. Not that sense. And because I would never want this to happen to me.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
That's why you get horrifying. On the side of the Kraken.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on the wrong end of a Kraken. Look forward.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Made a lot of bad choices in life. And get off the ocean, Travis.
Yeah, get away from the sea snake.
Get off the ball eater. That's the name of the ship. You've learned how to okay, so we've got that. That's a super powerful ability. That's basically like the Eldritch Blast that allows you to push people only all your spells.
Yes.
It's super control-y. Violent Attraction and 10th level Graviturgy magical feature. When another creature that you can see within 60 feet of you hits with weapon attack, I love this, you can use your reaction to increase the attack's velocity, causing the attack target to take an extra 1d10 points of damage. Alternatively, if a creature within 60 feet of you takes damage from a fall, you can use your reaction to increase the falling damage by 2d10. You can use this feature number, which is awful. They're already falling, and you're like, and understand,
boom.
You are very likely to be the person responsible for causing someone to fall. If you're on a bridge, you cast Fireball, you knock everyone off, you can use your reaction, make that fall suck even more.
Or you just levitate them up.
Yeah. You gain this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. This is really party friendly. So your fighters up front, say you're Echo Knight, they're dishing out violence and damage, and then you're just using your reactions to cause an extra 1d10 on their attack.
Yeah.
And it's just that little extra help, and it makes so much sense. It's kind of creepy. Right? Like, yeah, you're doing a good job with the sword, but you made it like someone pushed it for you a little bit more.
Yeah, like it's a little creepy to your friends too. It's like, why is like it pulls them forward a little bit into the blow. It's a little
upsetting.
Yeah.
And plus, if that's a crit.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. This extra damage interacts in such a way that it would be doubled on a critical.
It would be available for that crit. So 1d10 is nothing to sneeze at for a fighter. And it's using your reaction, so it's not taking away from what you've got going on for yourself. Because, as we all know, wizards there's no way to make them effective fighters when they should be shooting Fireball.
Yeah. A couple of questions. Does adjusted density, the last feature we were looking at, not require any saving throw for unwilling creatures? It does require a saving throw, but it's the saving throw of the spell.
Yeah.
If it's a or if it's an attack, if the attack spell hits, then correct, there is no saving throw.
Yeah, they would have either had to have been willing, like you cast Cure Wounds, and you're like, next, 5 feet. It could be a conveyor belt. You're like, next, boof. Next, Cure Wounds.
Swipe right. Yeah.
Just curing people. But yeah, it requires an attack roll, so it's not OP. It requires a saving throw. So you've already failed in your attempt to not be affected by this magic. So, and again, you're only really being moved 5 feet, which can be life or death.
It could be.
You could shove them into a bunch of zombies or off a cliff.
It's a very niche ability, I think, but within its niche, it can be wild.
You can start using your brain and really figure out like.
Yeah.
And this is again why I've taken to minis, because I used to be very theater of mind when I play D&D, and I am actually going back on that because I feel like combat is more interesting now when you have minis.
Yeah, I think Theater of the Mind is awesome, but I'm starting this tactical encounter series again on the site, and it's made me really, really excited for maps and minis again. And little features like this can be really, really good in fights like that.
And WizKids, the fact that they came out recently with the this is the area of Fireball. This is
the templates.
Yeah. Oh god, that's so helpful.
The one that Matt wore as a little fake crown. Yeah.
Could there be a better advertisement for that? They should have made that the poster image. For
I know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So let's take a look at Violent. No, we already did Violent Attraction. That was the 2d10. And that's 60-foot range. That's very good.
We have a question about Violent Attraction. Paladin crits, besides Smite, who had 2d10 to that. That's really nice. Yes, it is really nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yes, I love how explosive it is on crits. Crits are even better now. Margaret Best asks...
And because you can use your reaction, you can wait for the crit.
Yeah, you can just wait for it. Would this work with a familiar? Would Violent Attraction work with familiar?
Another creature that you can see. So if you had
Accelerated Sparrow. That's so funny.
It's a really tough, like a fly that is just really powerful.
Here's my fastball.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it is interesting. You know, if you are a summoner, then you got somebody you can cap off.
Yeah.
If you've got a thief, sneak attack becomes a little bit more mean. It's just creepy. I don't know if I want someone to be like giving me that extra push. You know? I don't know why. It's creepy. It's like,
get your hands off me.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something upsetting about that. So 14th level Event Horizon. Don't worry, no eye stuff in this ability. This old school 90s sci-fi reference. Event Horizon 14th level. As an action, you can magically, emit a powerful field of gravitational energy that tugs at other creatures for up to 1 minute, or until the concentration ends. So this is effectively a concentration spell. For the duration, whenever a creature hostile to you starts its turn within 30 feet of you, it needs to make a strength saving throw against your spell save DC. On a fail save, it takes 2d10 force damage, and its speed is reduced to 0 until the start of its next turn. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage, and every foot it moves this turn costs 2 extra feet.
That's not just doubling. That's triple reduced movement. That's wild. Yeah.
So it's rough.
Yeah.
So no matter what, it's you're being affected. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, until the expended spell slots of 3rd level or higher.
It's good. It's very flavorful. It's very exciting. It immediately makes me think, oh, you should try not to take too many concentration spells if you're playing the subclass.
Which is interesting, because we're going to take a look at the current... This may turn into a 3-hour stream, and I'm okay for it. I really don't care. Lauren's probably screaming as I say this, but I feel like this stuff is really important. This is centered on you. I'll have to take a look at the spells that are in the book, but there might be some overlap there with like concentration.
Yeah.
This is a very effective way of keeping people just away from you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You are a wizard who does not want to get hit. This is awesome. We've got a question. Do Gravity Well and Violent Attraction also work on the person using the ability? No. Gravity Well and Violent Attraction.
It's a spell.
Oh, I see. So if you target yourself with a spell, if you, on a creature, so by the wording of Gravity Well, yes, you could, cast haste on yourself and then push yourself 5 feet away.
Yeah, for Violent Attraction, it says another creature. It's very plainly saying not you.
When another creature that you can see, yes, so Violent Attraction only works on your pals. It's teamwork only.
Yeah.
But if you were in a bad spot as a wizard, if you were about to take an opportunity attack, if you moved, and you just wanted to cast, I don't know, mage armor or something, yes, you could shuffle out of the way of it.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're all trying to play the fighter wizard, but it's not gonna happen.
Mountain dwarf graviturgist with medium armor and a one.
Don't do it. Don't do it. All right.
Should just play an Echo Knight instead.
No. I lost it. So is that it? No.
That's what we got. Yep.
Wait, no. There should be one more ability for the
Nope, it's just 14th level.
I thought the last one is. Oh, nope. You're right.
Yeah,
you are correct. It ends up 14th level for wizards. I really like the gravity wizard. I like the Chronurgist as well. I think that's
the wizards are super cool. You're always kind of in a hard space with a wizard to show off something new and cool because they already have so much that they can do with regards to spells already. Yeah. It becomes a concern of, are we just piling on too much?
There are a lot of schools of magic already. Wizards do get a lot of potential things they do. I don't think I see enough wizards out there. I think Caleb is one of my favorite representations of a wizard who is just like a dirty hobo wizard.
Yeah.
And I like that. So that's really fun. Does Event Horizon affect friendly creatures as well? Ooh.
Good question. Let's take a look at that text.
Oh, man.
Event Horizon is an action that tugs at other creatures. Never a creature hostile to you. No.
Yeah. It doesn't
only
have
hostile
to.
Creatures.
This is interesting because this could make it. You could make an excuse to be like in it if you really wanted to help everyone around you. 10-foot radius is nothing to sneeze at necessarily. So, I just wouldn't use it necessarily that way. But yeah, it could be advantageous if you're fighting back to back with a wizard. Maybe if you had Warcaster in this.
Oh yeah,
you're kind of a nightmare to deal with. No one wants to get near either of you at that point. So yeah, you can.
Yep, and your friends are totally safe in your Event Horizon. I think that's good.
So we're going to go on to some of the Dunamancy spells.
The spells!
Spells! You're actually getting quite a few spells in this book, which I'm very happy for.
Before we dive into the spells themselves, I want to talk briefly about the way that Dunamancy works, the way that this book presents it. So you could let any wizard use these spells if you want. If you're playing a campaign set not in Wildemount, if you just want to import Dunamancy spells because you like the spells into your home campaign setting, go for it. That's great. Within the context of Wildemount, though, Dunamancy is a rare art that is kept quite secretively by the Kreen dynasty, and so only Graviturgist and Chronurgist wizards by default are given these spells to add to their wizards. Somewhere that says that's called Dunamancy.
What's up? You're in. Are we back? Okay. Yeah. Comcast is probably. All right. Are we back? We're fine.
Are we on the internet? Okay, we're back. I was just talking about the way that Dunamancy can be given to other classes, and in essence, even though Dunamancy in Wildemount is available only to Chronurgists and Graviturgists, if you are a wizard, say like Caleb, who started out in another school like Transmutation and made friends with a Dunamancer like Haeck and to have a chance to learn these new arts, you can slowly add them to your spell list. Or maybe you take the Magic Initiate feat and you discover some Dunamancy. I would recommend to Dungeon Masters, and the book recommends the same, to keep a pretty tight hold on these Dunamancy spells, because even though they're very cool mechanically, their rarity and mystique adds a certain something to the setting. Or, maybe you're playing a game where the Kreen Dynasty is like your home and you're Dunamancers and you know all that stuff already, then maybe it can be a little bit more free flowing, right?
I feel like I fail, like currently, like I am running a game in Wildemount, and I feel like we have a wizard. who I feel like I've failed a little bit because I haven't made it more difficult to acquire new spells. Because I think that's kind of the magic of being a wizard. Like if you read the Dragonlance novels, Raceland is desperately to find scrolls and to find books. And there is a beautiful moment when the Mighty Nines first started out where they're sneaking into this mansion and Caleb sees scrolls and he's like, no, I'm taking these. And Ford is like, we have to have 0 presence. We cannot steal anything. And he threatens him with his Hexblade, saying, we're either on the team or we're not. And it's that horrible moment of like, Caleb wants this knowledge so horribly badly. And like wizards should have that that urge.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't hit 5th level and just be able to have all the spells you want. I think that's the journey. Having to learn is the fun part because otherwise you're a sorcerer.
I think this is a Joey opinion time. I think that if it weren't so easy for DMs to screw you this way, wizards should gain no spells on level up. Like right, if you had a perfect DM, and your campaign always had scrolls showing up, you would have to either spend downtime to research spells or find them in the wild. You don't just gain them automatically at level up. This is a controversial opinion. Maybe I shouldn't be sharing this.
So it was an interesting question. Magic Missile doesn't require an attack. 3 glowing darts of magical force. Each target hits a creature of your choice that you can see within range.
It just hits.
It just hits.
And Gravity Well says, willing to move, hit with an attack roll, failed a saving throw.
Correct.
So if we're strictly interpreting the rules, Magic Missile does not interact with Gravity Well in any way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So,
very interesting.
I mean, otherwise pre-manipulative. I don't think overpowered, but like you're not giving someone a choice, and that's always bad.
And you're really squeezing every last drop of juice out of that feature with a 1st level spell, right?
Yeah.
A 1st level spell to move someone 15 feet, that feels like you're abusing the rules. Maybe a little bit.
Eldritch Blast. Shade. Okay, so we're not going to look at all the spells. We've only been approved for a set number of pages.
We'd be here all day.
But do know that we have officially been approved by Wizards and also Wizards Legal that we are allowed to show these on the live stream live.
Yay! Hooray!
So Darkstar already. I don't know why I like it. I mean, it's because it sounds like the David Bowie album, Black Star.
Let's kick it off with an 8th level spell. Let's do it.
Why not? Darkstar. The spell creates a sphere centered on a point you choose within range. The sphere has a radius of up to 40 feet. The area with the sphere is filled with magical darkness and crushing gravitational force. I always like me some magical darkness. You're basically creating a wormhole. You create a lot of wormholes in air, but for the duration, the spell's area is difficult terrain. Creature with dark vision can't see through the magical darkness, and non-magical light can't illuminate it. So no sound can be created within or pass through this area as well. Any creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage, and creatures are deafened while entirely inside of it. Casting a spell that includes a verbal component is impossible in here. So this shuts down a cleric like no one's business.
Yeah.
I think almost all cleric spells require some kind of some kind of verbal component. That is over.
Oh my god, and it disintegrates you if you're dropped to 0.
Yeah, any creature that enters the spell's area of effect for the first time on a turn and starts its turn there must make a Constitution saving throw. That creature takes 8d10 force damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Ooh. A creature reduced to 0 by this damage is disintegrated. Disintegrated creature and everything it's wearing is gone forever unless it's got magical items. Magical items are weirdly impossible to destroy unless you use the shell.
This spell is vicious.
It's 8th level. That's when things get dark.
Yeah.
Wow. It's mean. It's a mean thing. It's one action.
What a wonderful spell to give your
It's a single moment. It's a boom.
Yep.
It's just a black hole. One action, no concentration.
Up to a minute. Nope, it lasts for like a minute.
Oh, it lasts a minute and it's no is it and it's no concentration?
And concentration up to a minute.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. You just cast this and peace out.
Nasty, man. If you manage if your campaign villain, some archmage or lich or something, has that spell and they just catch the whole party in it, like whew.
It's really bad because the wizards aren't finding a way out of it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Awesome. I love this spell.
I forgot that. So, I mean, a reaction is you knowing a spell is being cast, so you could try to counter spell, but you're also trying to counter spell an 8th level spell.
Mm-hmm.
Clerics are just not going to survive this. This shuts down your healers.
That's awesome. Yeah. If you know that your spellcaster boss has got this spell on them, like spread out.
Or maybe find a new villain.
Yeah. I'm not sure we can defeat this evil overlord. Let's go find someone
Move
easier.
on, retire.
Not our problem.
Go to Arun Rathis.
Oh my gosh.
Find an easier fight. Find a new dungeon master.
I just can't wait for Matt to bust a spell out on stream.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch the Mighty Nine get squished into tiny collapsible objects. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Not the pancake. So Fortune's Favor. We've already seen Fortune's Favor at use.
Yes.
In the Critical Role campaign quite a bit. Caleb is, and I can't believe this isn't Widowgas Fortune's Favor. But will be eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So you can impart latent luck to yourself and or a willing creature that you see within range. When the chosen creature makes an attack roll, an ability check, a saving throw, before the spell ends, they can roll an additional d20 and use that d20 alternatively. This can also be used for like attack rolls that are being used against a creature. It can dismiss the spell, and I mean this is basically the luck feature.
It is basically, yeah. It's basically a one-time use
of luck.
And there's a couple of like caveats on the spell that I think anyone who wants to use it should know. One, it's got a 1-minute casting time, so it's not just a boop. Here you go.
Yeah, this is not reaction.
You have to prepare for it, and it only lasts for an hour. So this is like you're going up into a big fight. You need to take a minute. Here you go. Here's your power. Okay, let's go. And also, it's got a price tag on it. You need to spend 100 gold on a pearl that the spell devours when you cast it. So, you know, we all know the lucky feat is a little bit on the strong side.
It's a little strong.
So, but that should tell you just how good this spell is, that you effectively have, as long as you're willing to pay for it, unlimited uses of the luck feature.
Yeah. And as you can also see on this particular page that we're previewing, so there's a cantrip called Sapping Sting that's particularly nasty.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Gift of Alacrity, which is more divination. You got Magnify Gravity, you got Fortune's Favor, Immovable Objects, Wrist Pocket, creepy, but you can hide it, items in a temporal space. You got Pulse Wave, Gravity Sinkhole, Temporal Shunt, Gravity Fissure, Tether Essence, Dark Star, Reality Break, which Reality Break is great, Ravenous Void, Time Ravage. You got a lot of spells in this book.
Yeah.
You're going to be very happy. Let me see if I can find some more spells.
While you're looking, I'll field a question by the Gene Pool. Should casting Dark Star hurt the caster at least 1 hit points and consumes a drop of their blood? Interesting question. Rules is written no. Here's a fun story. So I'm diabetic, right? So I need to test my blood sugar by putting a little stick on my finger and summoning a drop of blood from my finger with a little needle. And if that took 1 hit point out of me, I'd be a dead man. If that took a hit point out of me every time, there'd be no Joey left. So no
diabetic shadow for you.
I know, there'd be nothing. So no, I think as long as they've got a little needle to prick themselves, on the tip of their finger or somewhere, they're just fine. Cast a spell, or maybe they keep a vial of their own blood with them, just so they don't have to go through the rigmarole of getting it. Then you just, boop, there goes a little bit of that.
I don't want to hang with anyone who has a vial of their own blood with them at any time.
Yeah. Oh my God! But if you're, wow.
What's happening?
If you're a lich, how are you going to cast a spell? You've got to preserve your own blood when your living flesh is rotted away, so that you can still cast Dark Star. Maybe, that lich has got to be prepared. Whew, okay.
It's interesting.
That's a fun little tidbit.
This is a weird aside, but I realize how terrible, because I'm dealing with the situation right now. But if you make someone a zombie, it's super bad, because you cannot bring them back to life.
No.
Their creature type permanently changes. So even if you kill a zombie in D&D, you cannot cast Resurrection on them.
Is that true?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I would check with Jeremy Crawford on that, but like the wording of it is like you can't raise undead. You cast zombie on someone, they're effectively undead till the end of time.
If that's true, that's messed up.
Their body is, so it has to be like true resurrection, but it can't involve their body.
Yeah.
Because that body is no longer is forever classified as undead. Because you can revivify a zombie.
Interesting.
Yeah, you really can. Rules is written, you can revivify a construct or a zombie, because it doesn't matter that it's undead, but they only come back as a zombie. Wow. Yeah.
I'd have to check the rules on that. That's wild.
No, it is. I've been checking the rules.
I'm sure you have. Swoop and Frey says, what if you're a Warforged? Warforged have got blood-like fluid.
They got fluid. They got oil or whatever you want. Sap.
Yeah. I would be a very mean DM indeed if I did not allow a Warforged who got to, wizard level 15 to cast a spell. No, totally fine.
Yeah. I also don't like doing...
I mean, the question is kind of an edge case anyway. There aren't any Warforged in Exandria. Maybe if you've crossed the plains, maybe if a bit of Dunamancy makes it to Eberron or some such, then you might end up with a situation like that.
Even my current campaign that we live stream on Wednesdays, I've got Rend, and he's not Warforged. He's actually a conglomeration of magical construct items. He can't because he's a bucket of magical items.
You got no blood.
Got no blood. Magnify Gravity. So this is a first level spell.
We are looking at, just so we can get the right page up there, we're looking at the page with the illustration of a guy being horribly consumed by tentacles.
Yeah, that is upsetting. Tentacles with eyes, if you didn't, and mouths, by the way. So
horrible. Once you see this, you'll wish you didn't.
Yeah, so if we can get that up there.
What page is it? Fantastic. There's actually no page number on this
no page number because of the art. Just big purple creepiness.
Let's go ahead and read the spell.
Yeah, so we've got Magnify Gravity.
There it is.
Up right now, and this is like an amazing piece of art, by the way. Reality Break is really cool. And we'll talk about that. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I can tell you what it is right now.
The book's out tonight. You'll see it.
Magnify Gravity. The gravity, you cause the gravity in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on a point you can see within range.
So in a 10-foot
increases
sphere,
for a moment, right?
Yeah.
So you suddenly make gravity it says Magnify Gravity, so you should have known. Each creature is in the sphere on the turn. When you cast the spell, must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 2d8 points of force damage.
Pretty good.
Really good. Yeah, it's good for first.
It's good.
And its speed is halved until the end of its next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and suffers no reduction in speed until the start of your next turn. Any object that isn't being worn or carried in the sphere requires a successful strength check against the spell save DC to pick up or move.
That's a fun little
when you cast this at higher levels using a spell slot of 2nd or higher, damage increases by 1d8. I gotta tell you right now, so if you've got like a friend who's casting, say, Wall of Fire, again, Everett's Black Tentacles, this is rough.
Yeah.
You're making it way harder for someone to either break through that line or to get out of that spell effect.
Yeah. How much damage does Burning Hands do offhand? Is it like...
I don't know. Why?
I'm
Burning Hands.
Well, I'm thinking about this spell feels really powerful, basically, right?
Yeah, it does.
I think in terms of area affected, right? This is a 10-foot radius versus a 15-foot cone. I'd say they're more or less the same space. And 2d8 force damage, just because of the damage type it uses, which is
way
basically unresistible unless you're like a bear
damage.
barbarian. It's intense.
So let's look at Burning Hands.
Burning Hands, 15-foot cone, and it's 3d6 fire damage. Okay, so 3d6 averages to 10, 2d8 averages to 7. Okay, so Burning Hands does do a little bit more damage. Burning Hands might have the ability to hurt a bit more.
And it's a dexterity saving throw, so you may be able to take down fighters and ogres a little bit quicker with that kind of thing.
Okay, so the design team has their heads on straight. The spell isn't blatantly overpowered, but it's still pretty cool.
It's still pretty powerful.
Right,
though.
yeah. just in terms of the visualization of the story that's happening here, this is a spell that you will want to use. And being able to lock down enemies a little bit, that kind of control-y power, that's right in the wheelhouse of the wizards who'll be able to use this, the Chronurgists and the Graviturgists.
Yeah. It's really cool control power, and I can see my wife and I, when we play together, to like really cause a lot of horrible things. I mean, you're already taking like wall of fire damage, right? Yeah. Now you can't get out of it. So we got Pulse Wave. I will say there are a lot of gravity powers in the spell list. Not as many time powers, but there are a lot of time-esque powers that exist already in D&D that fit into that category.
I have to wonder if I remember the spell list being very, very large when I first saw it.
Yes, you and I both tested that.
I think, well, this book's already over 300 pages long.
It's
a big book.
It's a tome.
It's frankly ridiculous how much was crammed into this book.
Yeah.
And so I am sad to see some of the spells go. I'll bet that's why there's kind of a lot of gravity spells, because some of the other ones that had more, that had more parallels in the player's handbook, right? Were like, this is kind of close to something we've already got. Let's really save the meat.
And maybe we'll see a new version of that if there's another book.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe we'll see more, or maybe even on the DM's Guild. Matt publishes on the DM's Guild. He did the Blood Hunter class, which we really wanted to get into this book, but publishing a full class officially is very, very challenging. So out it goes on the DM's Guild for charity. Maybe we'll see more stuff on the DM's Guild for charity.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
But Matt is the busiest human on the planet Earth, so who knows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some things are happening.
Right. We hope.
Pulse Wave. So the 3rd level spell. You create an intense pressure. You create intense pressure, unleash it in a 30-foot cone, and decide whether the pressure pulls or pushes creatures and objects. Remember, if you're playing the Graviturgist, you can already cause them to get knocked back 5 feet. So each creature that is in the cone must make a Constitution saving throw or take 6d6 force damage on a failed save, and half as much on a successful one. Already, this is getting into that fireball territory of... the damage is in that zone, the radius is that zone, and then you're also factoring in the fact that you've got, it is a Constitution saving throw, but force damage is really hard to soak.
And it has that forced movement aspect too.
Then you've got the forced movement. So half as much if you succeed on your save. Every creature that fails their saving throw, however, is pulled 15 feet towards you or pushed 15 feet away from you, depending on your choice made for the spell. In addition, unsecured objects are completely within the cone, naturally are pushed as well. This, on top of being Graviturgist, and this is why I like the Graviturgist so much, is they have a spell effect. I mean, they have a natural class ability that functions with their spells, which makes them the best at their thing. I wouldn't say that exists for the Time Wizard, basically. That's not true, and it would be hard for that to make sense without it getting really OP. This makes it so hard. But the best % of this at Pulse Wave is, the Graviturgist. 20 feet is a lot. Yeah, you are like, if no one can come at you if you're on a bridge. At 3rd level, so you're 5th level, casting a 3rd level spell, you can shut a room down.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty interesting. If you can increase the damage, and the distance pulled or pushed increases by 5 feet for every spell slot you cast this above.
I think that's awesome.
That's mean.
Yeah, usually spells like this, I think, either scale in
just damage
or just movement. The fact that it scales in both is very, very exciting to me.
Which then makes the mini moving. Then you need varying. I don't know who has the Kickstarter for all of the different spell effect things, but I know WizKids isn't going to make me a radius thing for every pulse wave that I could potentially shoot out. But this is
well, it's just the movement. It's not actually the size of the cone, thank goodness. It's just how far they're moving.
That's true. If I would want the cone to know. So know where everyone went.
Sure.
but they do say away from you or towards you.
Yeah.
So the pulse wave.
So this, I think, is a concession to making the game simple to play. If this game didn't have a grid, I think it would be great if they were pulled along the radial lines.
Oh yeah, it is a cone. It is a cone. This isn't a sphere, so that makes sense. So
well, but yeah, so it's like in the reality of the game, it's got a cone, and every creature within the cone is pulled like straight towards you. Whereas if this were a game, talking about Dragon Age again, if this were like Dragon Age where it had no grid, then I imagine that the creatures would be pulled, parallel to the lines of the cone, or pushed parallel to the lines of the cone.
This becomes really fun if you teleport in, right?
Yeah.
You somehow sneak and you're invisible and you're just waiting for a moment for the army to walk by, and just like he will go into the ravine.
They're crossing the ravine. Get out of there!
And then I don't know what happens to your alignment after that, or like how your fellow players look at you anymore.
Like, this guy's dangerous.
I'm going to guarantee you, if you're a graviturgist, take a hard look at the gravity damage rules in the DM's Guild, because you're going to need to know that stuff for the DM. Like,
caps at 20d6 at that many feet of falling damage. Such a tease. It says Ravenous Void right here.
I know.
One action, range 1,000 feet.
Who knows?
What could it be?
We can't give away everything.
New question from Saskert. Do these spells belong to the current school of TG Evocation Transmutation? Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They didn't used to. They used to be a new
all
school.
Dunamancy.
There used to be a new spell school, but to make them balanced and to make them more usable by other wizard schools,
in a certain amount of
we
sense,
fit them into the original.
Because there are things like reverse gravity that would normally have become Dunamancy.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. We don't want to, retcon a lot of players' handbook stuff.
No, I will say that I do miss Wild Magic as its own school, and I kind of felt like that would have been more interesting because it was such a unique classification of spells that don't previously exist in D&D, really. And there were a ton of spells, and like the Tome of Magic in the second edition. For this, I think that makes sense. I think that's fine. So Reality Break, I will say, this amazing piece of artwork that you're seeing is horrifying.
Yeah.
It really is a reality break. So what happens in the spell is basically, if you're familiar with the Warlock ability for the Fiend pack.
Oh, the Hurl Through Hell.
Hurl Through Hell. You're basically doing the same thing. You are like destroying someone's world. They may take damage. They may do all kinds of different things. I'm experimenting with a Feywild version of this.
Nice.
To make people all crazy and weird. I feel like we've given away quite a few spells already. But yeah, it's a really cool, not OP, but fun spell.
Question from Fondule. Does Pulse Wave cause damage if you use it on a creature that was 5 feet from a wall? Rules is written no, but I think that's a fine thing to do as a DM.
Yeah, I think narratively it's a fun thing. And if you do cause a creature to die, it can get really gross.
Ooh,
right?
Splattered.
Like in the Dungeon Master is kind of like wording of this.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would say as a DM, I would say if you fling them into a wall, give them an extra d6 of damage, just sort of tack it on there. But if you are a dungeon master and you know that your players are going to be using these Dunamancy spells, I would think about your level design, so to speak. If you're making a dungeon, put spikes on those walls.
Make it fun. I was going right there. Like, it's bad enough walking through a room.
Yeah, if you know your players are going to be moving things around, shuffling minis around the board, make that really count. Put pit traps, put lava pools, do everything you can, and then have your monsters do the same thing. Have Volo's Guide has Warlocks of the Fiend, Old One, and Archfey. Give them Repelling Blast, so that they can shove you all around.
I
the
love doing that.
Too.
I love putting people on the cliff with a Warlock that has Eldritch Blast with the right invocation.
Oh yeah,
with Repelling Blast. But that's good. What I like about the gravitational powers is it allows more opportunity to not necessarily take a look at your CR rating of a monster as a DM and realize there are a lot of situational things you can set up for them, like on the board. In the environment where you're like, okay, well, yes, I am putting you in a horrible situation, but you have a lot of advantages that you're not aware of. Bridges and lava pools, and acid pits, or whatever, or stalactites and stalagmites are a thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
what else? I mean, like classic pit traps.
Quicksand. I mean, remember how much we feared quicksand growing up? Tripwires, traps. Oh my god!
Swinging pendulums
like jumps into my mind.
Oh my god! Yeah, trenches. Argy the pirate asked, "Can we see the background table? It's the Heroic Chronicle. My child." I don't think we have preview pages of it.
Because it's easier to talk about.
Yeah, that's
than
fair.
it is to show necessarily on screen.
Yeah,
I did consider it.
Yeah, I want to show it to you with all the burning passion in my soul, but you'll have to wait till 9 p.m. Pacific tonight.
Let's look at some of the monsters. Will, we've got, I'm talking to my producer, Will, we're going to take a look at this very creepy zombie, the Husk Zombie. This recently, happily was featured in Critical Role, where we got to see Bew do her flash dance amongst all the ooze and pus of the Husk Zombies, which was a classic CR moment.
Great.
So the Husk Zombie is really fun because it's actually one of those zombies that, and I love different versions of zombies and skeletons. So effectively, they live in the eastern, the eastern part of the Winander. I don't remember. Winander.
So that's Xhorhas.
Yeah, that's Xhorhas. Like, there's a lot of. This is where the calamity happened. A lot of terrible magic happened in this area. Consequently, the creatures and undead that exist in these areas can be a little weird.
They're fast zombies. Oh, no.
Fast zombies. We're getting fast zombies. Yeah. So sorry, I'll cut to the point. They're husk zombies, inconsequentially lighter.
Yeah.
A little bit more ferocious.
They're not shamblers.
There's also a variant of them that actually explodes on death.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's where you're getting all that poison goo all over you.
Left 4 Dead flashbacks.
But, yeah. But if you're a monk,
yeah.
The boomer. Well, we're like damaged from that game. But if you're playing a monk, you don't take poison damage, hilariously. So it's I love the artwork of it. It's a really fun creature to edit to any kind of DM's campaign. It changes things up. I like a running zombie. I'll never forget 28 Days Later. First time I ran into a zombie was a game actually called Nocturnus, which I know a bit a little down the nose, but it was kind of a steampunky, hunted down werewolves and vampires and zombies. And I'll never forget the day a zombie ran at me, and I'm like, because it wasn't a thing in games.
Oh my god.
It wasn't a thing in movies. I was so scared I put the game down for like a week because they had just upsetted my reality. So we're not going to get into like the nitty-gritty of the Husk Zombie, but it's like a really fun undead to add to any game.
Oh hell. Yeah. Curse of the Husk.
Humanoid slain by any melee attack from the zombie revives as a Husk Zombie on its next turn.
On its next turn.
Yeah. Do you know why that's a problem? Because of what I told you. Because if a creature
that's messed up.
Classified as undead. I don't know what demons would rule this, but again, this is a great as far as I've read from Jeremy Crawford on Twitter, and I could be misreading this, once your creature type changes, that's it. Which means, like, even though this was a low level encounter, and we are certainly not as afraid of death in 5th edition D&D, because Revivify, raise dead is so readily available unless you're limiting diamonds. That fear of dying isn't that big of a deal, but like, that makes it scarier.
That's frightful.
I mean, you still have your death saves.
Yeah, that's so scary. It makes me want to check the rule books.
Humanoid slain by a melee attack from the zombie revives as a Husk Zombie on its next turn. So you're not really officially slain until you finish your death saves. But what this does is a little bit of that World War Z kind of like 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, counting down to 12, and then boom, zombie.
That's an interesting question. I think DMs could really fumble with the wording of this, right? A humanoid slain by a melee attack from the zombie. If a melee attack knocks them unconscious and then they bleed out, does that count?
Yeah.
So,
because you're kind of infected.
Yeah. So here's how I would rule it. If indeed once you're zombified, you're screwed, and you cannot be resurrected, then I might be a little bit lenient and say, if you just bleed out after you're knocked unconscious, you'll be okay. But I think these Husk Zombies, they're frenzied. They're gonna get down as soon as you're dropped. They're gonna start reaching in and tearing your viscera out.
Yeah. They're not.
Yeah, they're not gonna wait for you to bleed out.
Yeah, they're intelligence 3. They're not smart. They're not very sentient. Like, they got the strength, they got the con, but they don't have any high charisma. They have nothing to really justify it not continuing to attack you necessarily.
ZP Dubs asked, if a Husk Zombie last hits a fellow Husk Zombie, does it revive as a full HP Husk Zombie? No, because they're undead, not humanoids.
Yeah, and they're not going to do it.
So, but if it last hits a humanoid, yes, I would say it comes back as a full HP Husk Zombie.
We got big, ugly Devil Toad. Let's show that art. The art is so good. And I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. I believe this is one of the first enemies the Mighty Nine ever encountered.
The Devil Toad.
The Devil Toad. This is a mean little dude. And he's not little.
This guy's spooky.
Yeah. This horribly scaled and repulsive, vicious devil stalks the dark edges of society from prying eyes. Do you want to go ahead and take a look at this?
From prying eyes, subsisting on the life force of unsuspecting humanoids. Creatures that die to the Nergaliid's feeding leave a corrupted undead corpse, better known as a Husk Zombie. Oh, hey, there is the origin of the Husk Zombie. The Nergaliid favors feeding on the life force of sleeping humanoids, feasting on the same prey nightly, so long as its victim remains unaware. This ensures that a lasting source of nourishment with the victim beset by terrible nightmares as long as the feeding continues. When a Nergaliid is discovered, it tries to strike a deal with the one who uncovered it. It might offer material wealth in exchange for freedom and silence, and only when an accord seems unlikely does the Devil Toad attack. What's with D&D and evil toads? We've got bullywugs, we've got slod.
Yeah.
Frogs are scary.
Yeah, frogs are terrifying in D&D.
Frog behemoth. Yeah, trust no toad.
Trust no toad. Trust no toad in D&D. And now we've got a playable race that is even pretty...
the Grung. Yeah,
we got the Grung. So, Grung Warlock. Maybe you made a pact with the Nergaliid.
Yeah, they are fiends. Yeah, you could totally make a fiend warlock pact with a Devil Toad.
Oh, maybe that's why you became a Devil Toad. Like maybe that's how. That's why you became a Grung. Maybe that's how Grungs are made.
Oh, heck!
I don't want our adventure to be that, but tomorrow. Yeah, it's a really fun creature. I like the idea that like it's going to do its best. I like this writing of like it's going to do its best to communicate.
Yeah,
and try to make a deal.
It's an intelligence.
Enough of that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not a mega genius. It's intelligence 12, but like that's good intelligence. Like it's a sentient, thinking, feeling creature.
Yeah.
It just also happens to be incorrigibly evil.
Which reminds you that, like, okay, really take a look at your intelligence of the monsters you have, because they may run.
Yeah.
They may try and make a deal.
Yeah.
You're like, there's all kinds of options. They're not all hell giants.
If your int 10 plus monsters, even like 8 plus monsters are fighting to the death, you might want to think more tactically with them.
All right, let's move on to Sahuagin Warlock.
Hey, I made this monster.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I wrote so this monster features in one of the 4 adventures in this book in Tide of Vengeance, Tide of Retribution. Tyler Boyce asks, what layer of the 9 hells could we find Nergaliids on? All of them.
All that are convenient for your shoppers.
Yeah. Maybe they're frozen in the ice of Glazia or wherever. That would be cool. You have to thaw the ice to get through.
Don't all thaw the ice in Glazia. No.
Falling out. Yeah.
So yeah, well, you seem like you would be the best person to talk
about. So it's. I mean, this is not a monster that like a Devil Toad needs me to explain it. This is a Sahuagin who has become a warlock of the great Leviathan Ukotoa, and they naturally have the very same sword that was granted to Ford, the Sword of Fathoms. So they have that scimitar with the eye symbol in the hilt, and they will do anything to advance the plot of their monstrous master. You know, he wants to be free.
I think about that narratively.
The plot of the story. They'll do anything.
They'll do anything to advance the plot line, to move the story forward.
I mean, seeing what's going on with Ford.
I would love that as a race of creatures.
They have narrative awareness and they are pushing
I
forward.
know who your dad is. There's like weird knowledge about like, that magical item you need.
I want that creature in the Feywild. Like they're just meta.
That seems to be, yeah. They're always metagaming. Like
that's great.
We'll call them metaloids.
Oh my god.
Sorry. Yeah.
So these guys have got all the things you'd usually expect of a Sahuagin and all the things you usually expect of a warlock. But they also have a variant power called a Rod of Retribution. And this rod appears as kind of the cornerstone of the adventure Tide of Retribution, sort of the Menagerie Coast starter adventure in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically whenever they are damaged, they can return that damage with extreme fury. So even though these warlocks are, they're squishy, they're the kind of guys you want to single out, don't rush on them too fast, or they will screw you up.
Yeah, because you only have yourself to blame at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt kind of loves that stuff. Like the Blood Hunter is a good example of like we've lost characters because of the wrong action, which you feel like you earn as a player more.
Yeah. I mean, you always want deaths to feel a little bit self-inflicted.
You do.
Yeah.
I am currently struggling with this.
Yeah. Oh, the Sea Fury.
Sea Fury is we're looking at this wonderful, creepy hag-like creature. The artwork for this could not be cooler.
It's awesome.
I love this artwork.
What was her name? Vashilla? She was in the Diver's Grave in that Menagerie Coast arc too. Does the book state who is on the Taldore Council? Asking for some friends.
No.
Every time you ask that, one of them dies.
Yeah, so the cast list changes as much as the Avengers. No, I don't know. No.
Who can say? Who can say?
Buy the book and find out. So I've been doing probably an OP version of the Sea Fury as one trapped in a lake. But they're very powerful. And not really OP, but like a very prophecy Sea Fury. I can see into the future, and if you ask it a question,
oh yes, I remember this.
Yeah, it makes the wish come true. If you say the name, it's almost like this horror, like tricking someone into saying, if I say this thing and you say the name, it becomes real. So it's like a wish that requires you to open your mouth.
Yeah,
so it's like scary, creepy.
It's a sort of you're making your own rope.
I always I always like that stuff, and I also made her nails for some reason crawl into her nails break off and crawl into your leg. Other than that, the Sea Fury is already terrible. So this is basically a sea hag, right? That ate her coven.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Sea Fury is freaky. I mean, if you watch that episode of Critical Role where the Sea Fury shows up, it's scary as hell.
Yeah.
And the origin of these creatures is like, they have like they wanted all the power of the coven for themselves, so they devoured their coven base.
You thought a sea hag was upsetting. I like OP sea hag. They've got really great legendary abilities. They've got legendary effects. You've got like octopuses running around and electric eels that can be summoned. She can even summon. I'm intimately aware of this creature. Having used her, she can even summon the specters of her former sisters, who she's killed as a legendary action. It's really fun. I love hags. I just love hags. I love creatures that barter or make deals. And I also like putting players up against creatures that can't fight. It's a good reminder also that like your players need to know when they can fight and when they need to talk.
Yes.
Or run away. Because some things are just going to be too powerful. And the Sea Fury is kind of a pretty strong example of like 3 legendary resistances. Is a lot.
Yeah. You don't want to deal with this unless you're fully prepared. It's interesting. This is Sea Fury.
And magic resistance, by the way. So, like, even then, I had a character who was kept on trying to banish her and made it fail 3 times in a row. Like, just burning through their spell slots like crazy. Yeah.
Does the book include any new Eldritch invocations for Warlocks? I don't believe so.
It does not. You are getting a lot of Eldritch new invocations in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That's going to probably be in some product at some point. I would only assume. Unless they're just teasing. So, see, I love the art. The art, again, is just gorgeous. And there's so much good art in this book.
And I love lair actions and especially regional effects. I think the way that a monster can warp the world around it is awesome.
I've loved that inclusion. I don't know when that started happening.
Monster Manual.
Was it
4th edition?
Or maybe it's this edition. I don't know.
It might be this edition.
I can't remember.
I think a great way to build a world is to just start by taking legendary monsters and just plonking them down and seeing how the regional effects just twist up
where you really define the geography of a world based on where you put these legendary creatures. And then you can like even estimate like what kind of cities. because of this.
Yes.
Like, how was it? Like, it's very Lovecraftian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you got the wrong thing nearby, like a kraken, people may have started getting a little weird. I think a really good example of regional effects, if you're a child of the 80s, is Dragon Slayer. You know, he's looking for the dragon. They don't have a lot of money to spend on dragon animation, so you see like fissures everywhere near where the dragon is, steam coming out, and like the smell of sulfur and scales. And they do a good job of making it feel like, okay, I'm in the environment. Aliens, like any horror movie, examples of presence.
The environment is an extension of their power.
Beholders make you paranoid, right? We got a lot of magical items. We're just going to run through it. Sorry again for the magical items is amazing, but Dust of Deliciousness, we've seen this to great effect. Don't want to spoil anything, but there's some... Laura Bailey, everyone.
I love her.
For someone who loves trickery, I got really shown up. I think we all did. I think
it's magnificent.
If she doesn't end as a god of trickery.
Yeah.
Hunter's Coat is really cool. It's got 3 charges. You know, it allows you to deal a little bit of extra necrotic damage. This is more just showing these pages to show you, like, there's a lot of magical items in this book, actually.
I'm fascinated by this last stand armor. It's +1 armor, and if you die while wearing it, the armor explodes, and all Celestials, Fey, Fiend within 30 feet of you are banished to their home plane if they fail a Charisma saving throw.
That's amazing.
That's super cool. Like, it sucks for your very rare magic item to explode, but like, damn if that couldn't get you out of a very sticky situation.
It's also when you take into account culturally for Wildemount and for Exandria in general, like the betrayer gods and the calamity. Isn't that the armor you want your soldiers running in there with?
Yeah,
because
or like you're like your great champions.
Yeah, even if they die, the frontline soldiers are going to like take out the flanks of these demons and celestials that are causing issues. So it becomes like you're weaponizing your soldiers. Like, well, even if they don't make it, at least they took some people out with them.
Yeah, that's the sort of, you send them in on a mission you're not sure they're coming back from.
You got cool things like Goggles of Object Reading, which is like, if you're an artificer, I would love to see which of these objects would end up being things that artificers can make.
Yeah.
Like, you know, having Goggles of Object Reading allowing you to cast Identify is really kind of cool. We're not going to be talking about that.
Luxon Beacon.
So now now we're looking at a Skull Ring producer, Mr. Will.
So page 269.
269, if you can read it. But we've got the Ring of Obscuring, which looks like a Vecna reference at first.
Oh, yeah, it's got the one eye.
Yeah, but...
Vecna's the god of secrets. I mean, that makes total sense.
That is true. So the band resembles a skull. You've got a couple of charges. You can cast Fog, though. Yeah, which is not what I would have thought would come out of that ring, but still pretty great.
It's cool. I like the image of like that skull opening its mouth and
fog or it's whispering something.
Yeah,
that's super creepy.
Fog Cloud with no concentration is a pretty good use of Fog Cloud. Yeah, neat. Hey, there's the Rod of Retribution. Yeah, if you beat that Sahuagin Warlock of Ukatoa we were talking about, you can take this adamantine rod, and it's got 3 charges daily. When a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you damages you while you're holding it, you can use the reaction to expend 1 charge to force the creature to make a dexterity saving throw, and it takes 2d10 lightning damage on a failed save.
That's really cool. That's a cool item to grab.
Yeah.
You have to throw some of those at the players, get them one of those rods of retribution.
Exactly.
Spell Bottle is really cool. You're literally doing kind of the motes that you can do as a...
it's a legendary item, too.
It is a legendary item, but you're basically putting a spell in a bottle.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And at a higher level. So I like anything like that. Well, what I think have
we run through everything?
Have we gone through everything in the book that we are allowed to go through?
We've gone through everything in the book. Yeah.
And of course, we're obviously Joey did a fantastic job writing Adventure, which would have spoiled everything if we showed it. But there's also the Heroic Chronicle, which helps really ground you in this world.
Yeah, there's an article coming out tomorrow morning that will welcome you to Wildemount. It will show you a good place to start as a player, a good place to start as a DM, and a way for you to and a quick overview of the entire Wildemount setting, so you can dive right in.
And I believe at 9 o'clock Pacific time, the book.
Yep, 9 p.m. Pacific tonight.
Explorer's Guide to Wildemount is going to be live on D&D Beyond.
I can't wait.
I've been overly excited I don't know what I'm going to do after this.
I know. I need to socially isolate myself, sit in bed with this book for the next 24 hours and just devour it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading it this whole time for reasons, obviously, for the campaign. It's really a fun read. And again, like all those cities are so well written that it's very easy to run your own campaign. I will say this, for all those who like watching this, and especially for people who may be watching other streams that are set in Wildemount, remember that's their own campaign. And though I know many will feel like you're setting yourself up for comparisons to Critical Role, please don't feel that way. Because everyone should be granted the license to make their own campaign, to adjust a world to their liking. People are going to also say the names of towns wrong. And that's going to happen. And let that happen. Don't let it detract from the fun of basically having what I would call kind of like fan fiction happening. But like everyone's fiction is their own canon. And
I remember the thing that made me really not want to get into the Forgotten Realms as a campaign setting was worrying about there's so much lore, I'm going to run afoul. As a writer who sometimes...
We've been back. All right, we're back.
Hey, we're back. Yeah, what I was saying was I didn't initially want to run games in the Forgotten Realms because I was worried I would mess something up. And now as a writer, I have to worry a lot about messing something up because it does need to be canon. But you don't have to worry about that. And you shouldn't even worry about it as far as Critical Role is concerned because, like, it's your game. It's your alternate universe. Just have fun with it. You know, Matt Mercer will not hunt you down and knock on your door.
Mainly because he doesn't have the time.
He can't do it.
But also, like, it is now your world.
Yeah. And, like, if you have players that get on you about it, like, tell them to stop. Like, you don't need that kind of energy in your life. Let it go.
Players should all, like, give everyone in the game should give each other, like, room to do whatever. And if you're watching a stream, because I would love to see tons of Critical Role like streams now, set in Exandria, understand, like, be supportive. That's all I would say. Like, you can't possibly know everything. You can't know. It'd be like yelling at Tolkien about Tolkien, right? Like you can't, like, you know, like you can't even make a movie about the Lord of the Rings without going afoul of the lore, right? Like,
you have to change things in adaptation.
Yeah, it's going to happen, and so just embrace that. I would say. So tomorrow you are running your first game on D&D Beyond ever.
Yes.
I'm in it. Apparently playing a Graviturgist because I said I would play whatever role someone had not chosen.
Yes.
More spells for me. And we've got that Bronze Girl is going to be in the game. We've got our friend DC Orion. Who is going to be in the game as well, and Lauren Urban is playing Aarakocra.
All of our best friends.
I'm so sorry.
Aarakocra are nothing to me.
I literally just had a nightmare that, like, did you see my tweet? I woke up with a nightmare that Laura Bailey and Travis were sending me emails for a game I did not know I was running that day. About Tricreen and Aarakocra.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I don't even know how to run that.
But yes, I'm going to be running a game set in Wildemount, set in Xhorhas tomorrow at 4 p.m., I believe. 4 p.m.
Yeah, 4 p.m. to
Pacific.
about 7 p.m.
Yep. It's going to be a blast. I'm excited to run a game for all of you. I've never done it before.
Yeah, it's going to be freaky.
Yeah.
We'll see if it fails. No, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And everyone's going to be playing a subclass from the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. So you're going to see some of these spells. You're going to be seeing these abilities in action. Maybe some of the magical items too. Some of the enemies. I don't know what you got planned. I know nothing. So
and they're all going to be 7th level. So you're going to get to see some of the really cool stuff in action
too. The juicy stuff happens at 7th. So it'll be really cool. I'm excited. I have to think of a character now.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
All right. I think that's all. I think we answered all the questions. It was thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for allowing us to show off some very critical pieces of the book. There's so much more in the book than what we showed. We showed you probably some of the juicier things, but honestly, it is just a garden hose of knowledge.
We showed
you hose of knowledge.
Yeah, we showed you like 7 pages of the over 300 in the book. So there's a lot.
There's a lot, and also please remember that Rexentrum is not thousands of miles wide for every block.
Yes, a minor error in the first printing, minor scale issue on one of the maps. Don't worry about it.
Many people have died on their way out. The Mosaic District. So, all right, that's our show. Thank you so much, James Haeck, for being on the show. Thank you for help writing the book.
Yes. I'm glad we get to do this in person rather than in our little letterbox.
I know, right?
It's fun. It's fun coming over here.
Yeah, I'm sure we will do more.
Yes.
So awesome. Thank you everyone at home for watching, and
thanks for
have
watching.
a great day.
See ya.